Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this crochet Christmas stocking. It comes available in two different sizes. You can see the measurements, the complete measurements of both sizes. This is the mini and there's also the full size. The link in the description below has a link to the full pattern details where it includes the materials you're going to need, links to purchase them if you don't have any of them and you want them delivered right to your door, as well as the sizing of each finished product. There's also a link to the written pattern as well if you prefer the written pattern or if you want to follow along to it. Also, this is a solid color, but I am going to be giving instructions during the video on number one, when to take certain steps and when not to, so that you can pick and choose if you're making the mini or the full size. You'll be able to accomplish both in this one video. Also, when to switch colors if you're going to be doing two colors, okay? Because right now I'm working on solid color stockings, but of course sometimes I do like to make the two colors where the toe, the heel, and the cuff would be a different color. So if you are making a two color stocking, you're going to want to start off with whatever color. We're going to start with building the toe portion. That's where we're going to begin in this pattern. So right now go ahead and grab whatever yarn it is that you want to use for the toe part, okay? So what you're going to need is yarn. For this one I've used Craft Smart Value yarn, pair of scissors, a 5mm crochet hook, and a yarn needle. Optional but recommended is also a stitch marker. Okay, so we're going to begin with a magic ring. You're just going to wrap the yarn around your fingers and cross it over. Hold it in place with your thumb there. Get your hook, put it under that first piece, over the next one, and scoop up a loop. Carefully pull your hand out of the ring and pick up your working yarn and chain one. Now we're going to half double crochet 8 times into our magic ring, being careful to work over both pieces of yarn. So yarn over your hook, push your hook through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, 7, and 8. And you're going to pick up that little piece there. Hold your work, keep it straight, and just pull the ring closed. And then you're going to close with a slip stitch into that chain 1 space. Okay? And then chain 1 to begin your next round. Here's where I would recommend putting in a stitch marker. It just helps to keep track of that chain 1 space. And we're going to go ahead and start our next round. Okay? So for our next round, we're going to half double crochet, yarn over, push your hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And we're going to do that 2 times into each stitch all the way around. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and continue working 2 half double crochet in each stitch around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and come back. By the end of this round, you should have a total of 16 stitches, and then come back. Now we're about to begin our next round. I just want to note that, don't worry, I will be telling you at what points you would do certain things for the mini versus the large. So following this tutorial is going to give you either the mini or the full size pattern. Also, there is a link in the description below to the written pattern as well, if you'd like to follow along with that, or if you just prefer a written pattern. And there's some other helpful links in the description below as well, so definitely take a look there. Okay, so our next round, we're now on round 3, so we're going to half double crochet 2 times into that first stitch, and we're going to half double crochet once into the next, 2 times into the following, once into the next. And you're just going to continue alternating all the way around 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way. Close of the slip stitch, chain 1 and come back. Okay, so by the end of that round, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Okay, so now we're going to move on to round 4, and we're going to work 2 half double crochets into the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into each of the following 2 stitches, 2 in the next, 1 into each of the following 2. Okay, and you're just going to keep on going all the way around, close of the slip stitch, chain 1 and come back. By the end of this round, you should have a total of 32 stitches. All right, so now we're going on to round 5, and we're going to do a 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into each of the following 3 stitches. Oops. 2 and 3, 2 in the next, 1 into each of the following 3. Okay, we're going to continue that all the way around, close of the slip stitch, chain 1 and come back. By the end of this round, you should have a total of 40 stitches. Okay. So here's a point that we want to make some mentions based on 2 things. 1, if you're working on a stocking that's 2 colors. 2, if you're working on mini versus full size, okay? So if you're working on a stocking that's 2 colors, remember, as I mentioned at the beginning, right now we're working on you would be using the color right now that you want to use for the toe, the heel, and the cuff, okay? If you're working on the mini size, which I am in this video, this is where we stop making the toe. If you're working on the full size, you're going to do 1 more round of increase. So you're going to work 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into each of the following 4 stitches. And you're going to continue that all the way around. You'll close with a slip stitch and then chain 1. Then you'll come back and move on to this next step here. And by the time that you reach the end of that next round, I'm going to tell you how many stitches you should have. You'd have 48 stitches, okay? Then you're going to change your color to the main body, whatever color you want for the main body of your stocking. All right, so if you're working on a mini, go ahead and change your color now. If you're working on the full size, pause this video, do that 1 more round of 2 half double crochet in the first, 1 in each of the following 4. All the way around, close a slip stitch, change your color, and then come back. So now we're going to move on to the main body of our stocking. All right, so now we're ready to move on to the main body. So the stitch that we're going to be doing for our stocking, the main body, is a moss stitch. And when you're working a moss stitch, you're working it from the back of the stitch, okay? The look and all that beautiful texture is on the other side. So we're going to be working in the round here. And so what we want to do is we want to be working our stocking inside out. And obviously when you're looking at the 2 sides of the toe, this is the part we're going to want showing on the outside. So right now we're just going to turn our work so that we're working back around this other way, so that this and our beautiful moss stitch are both showing on the right side of our stocking. Okay, so your chain 1 for this round might be a little twisted, that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and begin with our moss stitch. So a moss stitch is a 2-row repeat, or 2 round repeat in this case. So what we're going to do is work a half double crochet in the first stitch, and we're going to work a slip stitch in the next, half double crochet in the next stitch, and a slip stitch in the next. In case that was going a little bit too fast, let me slow those stitches down for you. You know how to do a half double crochet by now. You're a pro after doing all those rounds. And a slip stitch, you're just simply pushing your hook in, yarn over, pulling through both loops. All right, so you're just alternating between these 2 stitches all the way around, half double crochet, slip stitch, and you're just going to keep on going all the way around, close with a slip stitch and come back. Okay, so for this next round, this is where the 2-row repeat comes in. okay, to get that moss stitch. So we started with doing a half double crochet, then a slip stitch, half double crochet, then a slip stitch. So for this next round, we're going to start with a slip stitch into that half double crochet from the previous round. And then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch, which is a slip stitch from the previous round. Okay, so you're still just alternating the same 2 stitches, but you're being sure to work every half double crochet into a slip stitch from the previous round and every slip stitch into a half double crochet from the previous round. Okay, so you're just going to keep on going, working all the way around until you get back to the beginning. And then you're going to close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round, you're just going to keep on doing this. So now you're going to start this next one with a half double crochet. The one after that you'll start with a slip stitch, but you're just going to keep going, alternating between those 2 stitches. You're going to close every round with a slip stitch in the chain 1, and you're going to start every round with a chain 1. Okay, if you're working on the mini stocking, you're going to do this for 10 more rounds. If you're working on the full size, you're going to do this for 19 more rounds. So go ahead and do those rounds and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished working those rounds, we're going to begin working on the heel. So you're going to switch, if you're making 2-color stocking, you're going to switch to whatever color you did for your toe. You're going to switch to it now for the heel. So we're going to, depending on the size you're working on, if you're working on the mini, we're going to half double crochet once into each of the next 20 stitches. If you're working on the full size, you're going to half double crochet into each of the next 24 stitches. Okay, so yarn over and just work 1 half double crochet. In this case, I'm working on the mini, so I'm doing into the next 20. So 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and work your half double crochets again. Mini, you're doing in the next in half double crochet in each of the first 20 stitches. Full size, you're doing it for 24 stitches. Go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you've worked those half double crochets, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. You're going to half double crochet decrease. You're going to yarn over, push your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then going into the very next stitch there, you're going to yarn over, push your hook in that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So we're crocheting these 2 stitches together. Right now you should have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. Then you're just going to half double crochet into all the rest of those same stitches you just worked until there's 2 left. Normally at this point I would be giving the exact stitch count, but because I'm doing a video to accommodate 2 sizes, it's just easier to say until there's 2 stitches left. If you do want those exact stitch counts or whatever, you can definitely go ahead and get the written pattern. The link is there in the description below. But I'm pretty sure it's only this step where I don't give, just while we're working on the heel. Okay. So there's our 2 left. We're going to half double crochet decrease to finish the row. Okay, chain 1 and turn your work. And now we're going to do the same thing. Start the next one with a half double crochet decrease, and then we're going to half double crochet in each stitch across until there's 2 left. Oops. Okay, there's 2 more stitches, so we're going to end with our half double crochet decrease. Sorry, I made a mistake there with mine. Yarn over, go through, pull up a loop. Okay, 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 5. Chain 1, turn your work. Start the next one with another decrease and then half double crochet in all of your stitches until there's 2 left. And we're going to be continuing to do this until you reach to a point where the amount of stitches that you have left in this row is half the amount that you started with. Okay, there's 2 left, so we're going to do a decrease. And I'll keep doing them all with you, but just to explain what I mean by that. So for the mini one here, I worked to 20, right? I did half double crochet in my first 20 stitches, and then I started with these decrease rows. And if you're doing a full size, you did 24, right? So we're going to keep on doing this until the stitch count in our row, for me working on a mini, if you're working on a mini, would be 10. So when I get to 10 stitches, I'm done with the decreasing rows. If you're working on a full size, when you get to 12, you're done with the decrease, like 12 stitches across, okay? So we're going to keep on going. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so we're going to go for a couple more rows of decrease. Okay, so we're going to start the next round with another half double crochet decrease. All right, and then half double crochet in every single one of the stitches until there's 2 left. So if you're working on a mini, you should be having just this row and 1 more until you're done with your decreases. On the full size, you would have 1 more to go, more than those of us working on the mini size. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I would have to revert to my written to confirm that, but okay. So yarn over, there's 2 stitches left here, so we're gonna finish with a decrease, chain 1 and turn work. Okay, so we've got, let's see how many stitches we have left now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1 more row of decreases will have me to 10, and that's what I need to be at. So if you're working on the full size, just check your stitch count. When you have a total of 12 across, then you are ready to move on to the next step, and just pause the video or pause and get to the point where you have 12 left. If you're working on the mini, you're doing 1 more row with decreases at the beginning and end. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay, and here we are at our last 2 stitches of the row. So we're going to do our decrease. All right, chain 1 and turn work. All right, so check your stitch count. I've got my 1, 2, hang on, where are we here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And if you're doing a full size, you should have 12. So check your stitch count. If you need to do 1 more row of decrease row, go ahead and do that. You're just doing your half double crochet decrease, 1 half double crochet in every stitch across till there's 2 left, and then you're decreasing. Now we're moving on to the next step. And what we're going to be doing is increasing rows now until we get back up to the amount that we started with. So in my case, working on a mini, I need to get my stitch count back up to 20, working 1 increase row at a time. And if you're working on a full size, you need to get back up to 24. Okay, so we're just going to start now with doing 2 half double crochets in that first stitch, 1 half double crochet in each stitch, all the way across until we reach the last stitch of the row. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets into that last stitch of the row. Okay, chain 1 and turn work. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Our next row, you're going to start with 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into each stitch across until you reach the last stitch of the row. And that's where you're going to work 2 half double crochets. Chain 1 and turn your work. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to continue on until you reach that stitch count you need. So you can pause the video now. You're going to just do each row working 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet in each stitch across till you reach the last one, where you're going to work 2 half double crochets. If you're making the mini size, you're going to keep on doing these rows until you have a total stitch count of 20. If you're doing the full size, you're going to keep on working these rows until you have a stitch count of 24. Then come back and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now that you've finished those rows, your work should be looking like this right now. Okay, you're going to fold this down. And line up those edges, okay, as best you can. And then take your hook, oh, sorry, God, I'll shake you there, and push it through both sides there, okay? We're gonna close this seam up, this one side, just by working slip stitches all the way down, okay? I know you don't have actual stitches to follow because it's the edge of your work, so just as evenly as you possibly can. Okay, working your slip stitches all the way to that corner there. And then just do an extra little chain to keep it secure. Pull that up, fasten it off. All right, and then on the other edge, we're going to go ahead and reattach the yarn. So go ahead and make yourself a little starting loop. And you can position your hook first, makes it a little easier. Get that yarn on there. Pull it in. I like to pull it right the whole way through. And just tighten it back up. It's a little awkward, I know. Chain 1. Okay, and then you're just going to go ahead and same thing. You're just going to close up that other edge with your slip stitches as evenly as possible. Oh my gosh, there we go. A little bit of a struggle there. I'm trying not to bounce the camera again. It's a little bit of an awkward step here. Okay. And give it a little chain for that extra security. Fasten it off. All right. So now you should have this little opening. Okay. We're going to get our hook and reattach it anywhere you want. It doesn't matter what side. I like to get it right into the corner. Okay. And it's I like to start it off. You can push it right through here and pull it in so it's just a tight closure. Go ahead and make your starting loop. All right, because I didn't quite get that corner down. If you got your corner straight down, then just reattach in any corner that you want to. Sorry if that just caused a little confusion, but I just realized I didn't get that corner fastened right down. Okay, so chain 1. And get your stitch marker in there. And now you're just going to continue on with your pattern as you have been with our moss stitch. So now, note, if you're working with 2 colors, you're going to want to switch back to whatever color you're using for the main body of your stocking. okay? Because we've done the toe, we've done the heel, now we're going back to the main body. And you're just going to go ahead and continue on with your half double crochet and then slip stitch. Half double crochet, slip stitch. Half double crochet, slip stitch. And you're just going to keep on doing that all the way around. Your stitch count should be the exact same as it has been around the main body. So if you've been working on the mini, you've had a total stitch count around a 40. If you're working on a full size, you've had 48. That's how many you should have right now. So you're going to go all the way around. When you get to the beginning here where your stitch marker is, you're going to close with a slip stitch in that chain one space, chain one, and come back. And I just want to point something out because I want to make sure that I'm not getting messages like, what was that? I didn't see that in the written pattern with where you connected to. I only did that because just now when I was closing with the slip stitches, I just realized that one little corner, I didn't quite get a slip stitch through. Like this one's fine, but this one was just a little bit up. So I just took that moment, I took that little opportunity to attach my yarn there and make a slip stitch. So now it's clean, okay? Anyway, go ahead and make sure you have your proper stitch count all the way around. Close with a slip stitch in the chain one space and then come back. All right, so now that you finish that round, you're going to go ahead and continue on the way that you have been doing the moss stitch as you were doing in the body of it through here. So you're going to make sure, so we started with a slip stitch, right? Now you're going to start with a half double crochet, slip stitch in the next, half double crochet, slip stitch. And you're going to continue all the way around and alternating the way that you were, the two round repeat, right? If you started with a half double crochet in this one, you're going to start with a slip stitch in the next, then start with a half double crochet. Anyway, you're going to keep on going. Of course, you're going to close every round with a slip stitch in your chain one, and you're going to start every one with the chain one. If you're working on the mini size, you're going to do this for 21 more rounds. If you're working on the full size, you're going to do this for 31 more rounds. So go ahead and finish your rounds and then come back. All right, so now that you finished all of your rows, and this last one, you're going to chain one more time. So you have a chain two, and we're going to be working on the cuffs. I'm sorry, before this chain two, if you are working with two different colors, you're going to go ahead and switch to that other color now, okay? So we're going to work on the cuff. So once you have the color that you want your cuff to be, you're going to chain two. Then we're going to double crochet into every stitch all the way around. So you're going to yarn over your hook, push it through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first two loops, yarn over, and pull through the next two loops. Okay, so we're going to do that again. We're just going to double crochet into every single stitch all the way around. All right, so go ahead and work your double crochets into every single stitch all the way around and then come back. Okay, so now that you've gotten back around to the beginning, you're going to close with a slip stitch in the top of that chain two space. Okay, and then you're going to chain one. Now what we're going to do is work one half double crochet into every single stitch all the way around. Okay, just one half double crochet every stitch around, close with a slip stitch, chain one. If you're working on the mini size, you're going to do that for 5 rounds. If you're working on the full size, you're going to do that for 10 and then come back. Okay, so now that you finish those rounds, you're going to go ahead and pull out your stitch marker if you're using one there. Pull up a bit of a tail end. We're going to fasten that off. Pull that through, and then you're just going to grab your yarn needle, okay? And then you can just hide your tail ends, because remember right now your stocking is inside out. So we're going to weave the tail ends in and out of some of those stitches on the inside of our stocking. Okay, so you can go ahead, weave those tail ends inside out. I'll leave these ones for now just to show you the rest of what you need to do. So now we're going to flip our stocking around so it's not inside out anymore. All right. I had one of my tail ends poking through there. Okay. And then you can fold your cuff over. All right, and you've got your finished Christmas stocking. Now to make the little loop to hang, you're gonna go ahead and just reattach. You're gonna reattach whatever yarn you used for your cuff. So have a look and see where you'll want the loop to go. And then you're just gonna go ahead and reattach your yarn there. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and sorry, 10. And then you're going to just into the exact same space where you just reattached it, slip stitch to create your loop. Okay, so you can go ahead and fasten that off. And same thing, you're just going to use your yarn needle to hide those tail ends, but I recommend just going in underneath the cuff. It's a little awkward, but it's a more sure way to really hide those tail ends from the loop even better. Just going to pull that through and use your yarn needle to go ahead and weave those in and out, and you're done. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a look at those helpful links in the description below.